Testing, 1, 2. Hello, everybody. My name is Dylan Zachary. I'm here with my co-host, Stephanie Lamb, and we are the creators of the Poets Foundry, and this is our first live stream poetry reading podcast, and I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for watching. So, basically what we will be doing is reading poems, some of our favorites, some that have been submitted to the Poets Foundry group page and featured, and also just some favorites from around the internet and Instagram. And you can catch us both on Facebook and Instagram. I am D Zachary Poetry. This is Stephanie Lamb Poetry, and we will give you those links at the end of the show. So, thank you very much for coming. Anything you want to say, Stephanie?
No, just thanks for being here, guys. This should be fun. We've got some good poems picked out for you guys.
Definitely. All right, so ladies first.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we don't have to. I mean, I could go first, but I'm sure you're ready to go.
You're a gentleman. Yeah, I'm always ready to go. This is by lyrically.blue. This is pulled from Instagram. Go and follow. Don't think it's titled.
Just a note, Stephanie. You keep cutting out just a little bit. No, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Just got to speak a little bit louder to catch your voice on the Discord.
Oh, got you. Okay.
That's all.
It's cutting out. Not like the net is cutting out.
Yeah. No,
okay.
It's really good.
This is Lyrically Blue, and it doesn't have a title, I don't believe. I know it feels like you can't do this right now, but I promise you can. As cliche as it sounds, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and when you reach it, it will be the most blinding, beautiful light you've ever seen. Life can be hard, it can be brutal, it can be grueling, and it can be painful. It can knock you down so hard you feel as though you'll never get back up again, but you will, and you have to. You have to somehow keep going. You have to somehow find that strength to keep pushing forward, no matter how many obstacles are in your way, no matter how many challenges you face. You must persevere and keep trying. Rainy days are bound to happen, and sometimes those rainy days last longer than expected. But I promise they won't last forever. Nothing. Everything is ever changing and temporary, which means this too shall pass. Try and believe. Try and never lose the faith that your happiness and dreams are never too far away. They're just hidden by clouds, patiently waiting for it to disperse so that they can re-enter and brighten your life. Remember, it's okay to take a breather, and it's okay to slow down. Never stop and never give up. This is your life, and your life is to be lived. That was Lyrically Blue. Her poetry makes me very happy.
That was so uplifting. It's beautiful.
All of hers are like that. All of them. Actually, she released one earlier today, and I almost swapped it out for the new one that she put because it was also just so uplifting.
That was on Instagram?
Beautiful. That's on Instagram. She used to be Charlie Alex. I don't know if you followed her when she was Charlie Alex.
No.
But I've read Charlie Alex on A-Pop a few times, and she kind of disappeared for like a couple weeks, and then she came back as Lyrically Blue and a new it's like a brand new profile.
It's beautiful. I love the name too. It's great.
I thought you'd like that one.
Yeah, no, I You know me, I love my positive, uplifting stuff. And I love my shadow work too, you know, when you're healing. But there's always got to be,
Yes.
it's like yin and yang. You got to have the little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so moving on. For those who don't know, I am a slam poet. I've been doing it since 2009. And before I even started, I was introduced to a man named Saul Williams, who is probably one of the most well-known, best slam poets in the entire world. And this poem is called "Said the Shotgun to the Head," and it's absolutely one of my favorites. It's actually an extract from a longer book, but he does this piece specifically on YouTube, and I just had to read it for our first show because it's something that really inspires me. So here it is.
Can't wait.
"Said the Shotgun to the Head" by Saul Williams. Citizens, children of the night, bearers of the day torch, scorch and burn not, the dam is broken, the curse is fled, once muddied, and still the river runs red. All those ships that never sailed, the ones with their seacocks open that were scuttled in their stalls, today I bring them back, huge and intransitory, and let them sail forever. If ever there were currents uncurrent, the wind could not serve as truth's currency. Currently, moon-marked and sun-sparked, unmarked bills, I am certain I speak a new language, as is always the first sign of a new age. I had begun to believe my blackened toenails were on a path to decay when, in truth, they had begun the gradual process of crystallization. I am he who walks on wind-scorned feet with toenails of amethyst and rose quartz, my path now crystal clear. I have come to tell you that she is here. It is not written. No penman's ship was ever cargoed with her character. Note, books are carefully folded forests, void of autumn, bound from the sun. Likewise, she made her residence on the outskirts of a shadowing history, on the dark side of the moon, where the searchlight of the sun could not spot her nor rot her, the seed of forbidden fruit. Every tree has a hidden root, yet she has come to light. The swelling patchwork of vibrant dreams, yes, there is a science to the aroma of sleeping women, and to think of the girlfriend I was tempted to break up with because she slept too much. I know now they nurtured her there. They slept in packs, dreamt in cycles, nursed her in shifts, and became her on rotation, unnamed her every time she was named so she would not be known to anyone, even unto herself, undressed her every time she was dressed so she would not be recognized as anyone other than herself. They blindfolded her and spun her in circles so she would find her way here by no other means than her intuition. And she is come. I am a simple, disoriented man in her presence. I wear my loincloth over eyes and ejaculate too soon. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I prayed to you, and in doing so cupped the wind, barred her entry into a century, 100 years of solitude. Yes, the wind is the moon's imagination wandering. I will now pray, with my hands outstretched, with these psalms etched into my palms. Most beloved, I am certain of nothing more than your existence. 1,000 ants crawling under a log may find themselves exposed in my childlike search for you, my collie, flower. I am eternally destroyed by your love. No longer am I eligible for any worker's pension. My friends laugh at me and talk behind my back. They say, you have changed me. And I am like a survivor of the flood, walking through the streets drenched with God, surprised that all of the drowned victims are still walking and talking. Maybe there's hope. I rush to each victim's side, sucking what I can of you out of your various incarnations, pumping their stomachs and filling them. To touch them is to touch you. To kiss them is to kiss you, my friends. Love is an art form slightly removed from its element. One may ask, Well, what does this mean? I respond, I've made it up, but it shall be from now on. From now on, cities will be built on one side of the street so that soothsayers will have the wilderness to wander and lovers space enough to contemplate a kiss. She kissed as if she alone could forge the signature of the sun. I closed my eyes, although I never knew the difference. I stood before a brighter light at lesser distance. And then, a feeling, almost as if nothing were ever bound to repeat itself again, as if history had been masterfully created as the Great Pyramids, and any attempt to reconstruct or relive any given moment would have to stem from an understanding of how the pyramids were built, from the top down. And if one could understand such majesty, one would also understand that kisses hold codes for unlocking new portals, and that pyramids were first made of flesh, our bonded souls shifting through hidden corrals and passageways. I will find my way to eternity within you. When I can feel you breathing into me, I, like a stone gargoyle atop some crumbling building, spring to life. A resuscitated angel, I sweep through city streets, my wings outstretched, making mothers clutch their young and remember. And do you remember, dear ones, or has your history forsaken you? There were tales told round fires, mysteries coded in songs, chants and uprisings, centuries of art, all incantations calling forth this day. On this day, the drunks vomit in unison, though last night they drank from a different cup. Children laugh and play, introducing their parents to invisible friends. A country girl smiles and two trees blossom out of season. See suns awaken. Our mother has returned to wave us from uncertainty. Once tidal, twice born of wooden ships, thrice formed through mother's hips. Mother's ships graced two lips, a poet's garden. 2 for 5, they're going fast, the future's bargain. That's strange, I heard my name, the river's parting. Hurry up, things blurry up, the sun is darkened. Rivers like oceans, oceans like answers. Questions in cloud forms, raindrops and stanzas. To be or not to see or not to. She has eyes like 2 turntables. Mix her in between my dreams and reality. Blend in ancient themes of bass is Isis. Basis cross-faded to Ankh. The beat drops like a cliff, overlooking my heart. 6,000 feet above sea level, 330 bodies disassembled, the head bones connected to the cockpit knee jerk, ass backwards, dancing slaves in a mosh pit, punk rock of Gibraltar, roll out, nothing's new, Mo blood dews and Mohawk, only this time it's you, and you never loved her for what she possessed. You powdered her face and came on her headdress, oil slicked feathers, putrid stenched waterbed, Mother Nature's a whore, said the shotgun to the head. And it smelled like teen spirit. Angst-driven, insecure. A country in puberty. A country at war. Oh, God.
Oh my God.
That gets me every time. I can't believe I actually got through that.
What? That was amazing. I mean, the poem itself is so amazing, but the way that you just presented it was like
I've watched that video more times than I can admit. So,
whew. Have you sent that? I think you might have sent that one. There were some, or maybe you've read it to me before. I don't know, but there were some lines like that. It smells like teen spirit and all that.
I may have sent you the video. Yeah, I think I might have. I've sent you a lot of Saul Williams stuff. Like I said, he's been my inspiration. So, yeah.
Well, good inspiration. Okay.
Sorry.
I will go. No, don't be. That was amazing. I'm gonna go with a shorter piece. I think all my pieces will be shorter.
A little bit shorter.
This will seem like a micro compared to that.
That's probably the longest one I have. So that's why I started out like that.
No, that is beautiful. Like, I'm so glad that you chose that. This one you've heard, and it is from Cami Sarah Poetry. At least I think you heard it. Called When the Light Turns Red. A woman sits beside me on the subway, arms relaxed, touching mine. I do not wonder what's wrong with her. Man sits across the aisle, looks my way, lingers his gaze, and I do not wonder what's wrong. The train pauses between stations for how long I don't get to know. And I do not feel the walls closing in. I do not fear the ground collapsing. My breath, my body, my heart are steady. I hold myself safe. This is how I know I am growing. This is how I know I am healing. I do not hold my breath when the light turns red. And that is Sarah poetry. The light turns red. And I just liked it because it's about healing, and I'm all about healing. Growing in those pivotal moments when you just know like you've hit a corner in your healing,
Yeah.
those are so important. And for her to celebrate it by basically writing herself a poem, writing her trauma, like, fuck you trauma, look at me getting through. And I just think that that's really lovely. You need to celebrate those.
That is so definitely right. And I mean, the poem I just did was long, but that right there hit me because it's the shorter ones. If you can get that feeling that you just expressed in that poem into a nice short poem, it hits so much harder, you know? So that's what I got out of that. Just the ending too is just beautiful.
Yep.
Great read.
So I don't know, you may hear it in my background, but my dog is kind of freaking out. I didn't think about like bringing him to the room so he wouldn't feel so alone. And whenever I leave the house, he literally stays at the front door and like will bark and whine, make these really weird like old groaning noises. Like he'll sit there going like "Arr." And so if you guys hear that, it's
Don't worry.
It's my little dog, and I feel bad that I left it. But my cat's up here.
Angel will be around, but yeah. Pablo, I love Pablo.
I know, I do too.
He's so good. We should have a picture of Pablo. In future shows, I will be able to switch in screenshots and stuff like that. So,
okay, I love Pablo, but he's like the world's ugliest dog.
No, he's a little old man. He's beautiful. Come on, I love Pablo.
He's a really old man. Poor Pablo.
Little Chihuahua, right?
He is. He's an applehead Chihuahua, and he's about I don't know, like 3 or 4 pounds. He's like this big. Like literally, he's like this big. My cat is bigger than him.
Oh man, that's
like way bigger than him.
He's so awesome. Okay, so let's get back to the poetry. I think I will read. I'm going to read one from the group here. Let's read our first ever post from somebody who joined the Poets Foundry. It's by Herschel Frazier. There's really no title, and it's quite short as well. And it goes like this. Thank you, Herschel, for your submission, by the way, if you're watching. And everybody else, if you want to submit your poems and have them read on the Poets Foundry live stream or watch party, feel free to do so. Just, join the group and post away, and we'll approve it, definitely. All right, Herschel Frazier. As I walk on this earth, most times all alone, I never lose sight of the place I call home. For no matter how long my wandering roams, I know I still have this place I call home. Mistakes I have made have brought me such shame. Bridges I've burned, I'm only to blame. But the place I most cherish will always remain. It's the place I most cherish. My heart is my home.
Herschel.
Herschel,
Hard.
man.
I love it. And he wrote that on the fly. He wrote that just because we asked for people to submit or whatever. And he interviewed him to put him on the feature page, is what he said.
Yeah,
I
that
could write
was
them in there.
that was early on in the group too, when we just kind of launched it. So it was really nice to have that submission. And like I said, if you guys want to submit, we will read them on the live streams. So
we'd be happy to.
yes, we'd be honored to.
Yep. Herschel's just a really nice guy too. We worked together back in the day.
Awesome.
For a while. This next one. This is the Indigo Poet, also pulled from Instagram.
Awesome.
And she, or he, it's not titled. But they did quote William Shakespeare. Said the course of true love never did run smooth. And I think that this one is like the audience, I think, will like this. The last time I saw you, take me back to the last time I saw you. I sank my teeth into your moods, trying to puncture the soft, plumb flesh, but it all became too much, too fast. I picked you out of my teeth piece by piece, going over them with a fine-tooth comb, but the taste always remained. Taste was always there. Is there a word for we tried? Something that does not sit heavy on my tongue, something pale and pastel, something light in the stomach, so I am not forced to heave up every poem I have ever written about you that I swallowed to escape and sort through the mess to find good news. Something salvageable. That was the Indigo Poet. Yeah, and I liked that one. It's that, that moment that you're, I don't know, like you're getting over someone, but you're like, can I just have like my time back? Can I have all the pieces of me that I gave to you? I have those back, please.
Yeah.
I get it,
That's the thing about it. It's like you never, like, those pieces of you are like diamonds, and you never really get those back once you give them away. But
you cut out a little bit. Will you repeat yourself?
Those pieces of you, those little pieces of you are like diamonds, and you never really get them back once you give them away. So, yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. You okay? Feeling all right? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go with another favorite slam poet of mine. His name is Shane Hawley, and I saw this at the National Poetry Slam. Well, I wasn't there, but I saw it on YouTube. Another one of my favorite slam poems. Most of these slam poems that I'll be doing tonight are from some of my favorite slam poets. So, ones that have inspired me. And this one is called Wile E. Coyote by Shane Hawley. It will work this time. It has to. I spent the better part of 19 hours crafting this mural on bedrock, and 3 full days before that laying pavement, redirecting the winding desert road so that it would end abruptly at the foot of my masterpiece, a rock wall, painted to look like a tunnel, an optical illusion, a way out. But there is no way out of here. My name is Wile E. Coyote, and I am so fucking hungry, inexplicably stuck in this lifeless desert. My only companion, a mindless blue bird, who I am forever doomed to chase, to whom all laws of the universe bend and break. This is my existence, compulsively ordering one ridiculous contraption after another. Even though I am on to the people at Acme, I know you are fucking with me. I am hours of flight suits, or a working magnet, or a lit wick short of supper, and I deserve it. I left my imprint all over this desert. I've been pancaked, incinerated, run over, diced, and buried. I've accepted my failure with only simple signs pulled from invisible back pockets begging for your sympathy, as if what will cushion what comes next. And whoever fancies himself my maker was cruel enough to imbue upon me the knowledge of how things are supposed to be. Rockets fire upon ignition. Rocks roll when the pull is great enough. When the pull is great enough against them. The trajectory of catapults is not arbitrary. Predators catch prey. Can you imagine how it feels? Your best laid plans crumbling around you, peering into the mouth of fate only to have it blow up in your face. It's enough to make you wonder if it's better to be a perfect physical specimen than it is to be bright. If all the time you spent lost in thought has been a waste, when all along it's been easier to just run. I am a super genius, and I can't capture a flightless bird who grins as I drool for his flesh. I keep at it, as if the next bow will fire the arrow instead of me, as if the poisoned bird seed will somehow end up in his mouth instead of mine. It is the curse of an addict to chase the thing that destroys you. But until you've done it, until you've launched yourself off of a 1,000-foot cliff for that one thing you love, you will never understand the gravity of my plight. This is it, the culmination of my mania. This fake fucking tunnel is the best I can do, and when the dust settles, I will stand firmly on red sand, his broken blue neck clenched between my teeth. This time it will work. It has to. Oh, man. That line about the addict chasing the thing that destroys you, just...
That was what caught me, too. Just, all the metaphors throughout that whole thing. I mean, he did a great job at, keeping with the theme of it being a Wile E. Coyote and the chase of the
bluebird.
What's the other? Yeah.
The Roadrunner.
The Roadrunner, there you go. But it's just, yeah, that was.
It's genius. It is. It really is.
That got my blood going. Who'd you say that one was again?
That was Shane Hawley. He's a slam poet in the States. He's been to the Nationals a few times, I believe. Like the States Nationals, which are bigger than the Canadian Nationals. So, all right, your turn.
Okay, I have one of my favorite writers, and this is trans writing. Just poem number 142. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't step off the ledge. I couldn't because the wind was shouting in my ears and the waves were waving at me to go back. And I could see her face in the water. She looked scared for me. And maybe it was just my imagination, but I haven't seen her in so long, and I wanted to see her. God, I wanted to see her. So I stared at the water for so long. I don't know how long I stared for. And she was asking me something, but I couldn't hear her over the wind and the waves. I think she said I shouldn't do it. And is that just my subconscious? Is that wishful thinking that she was in the water and I was on the shore on the cliff and she was telling me to go back?
Steph. Steph. Technical difficulties. Okay. So, not sure what happened. I think her phone might have fell down because it went horizontal and it was widescreen. So, not really sure what to do here. But while she gets that figured out, yeah, it looks like she froze as well. So, while she gets that figured out, I will go over another poem that was submitted to the Poets Foundry group page. And hopefully she can get that figured out. All right. So, yeah, she's reconnecting. So this one is Jonathan Sprague. He was our second contributor to the Poets Foundry. And there's no title on this one, but it goes like this. It's not empathy. No, not so much as that. It's like hearing whispers before they're spoken, feeling embraces before they're taken, a terrible knowing, like feeling the skull beneath your own skin. Short and sweet. He actually contributed 3 poems all at the same time, so I'm going to go over all of them while we figure out what's happening with Steph. Let's see. Her phone shut off, and it's okay. I will keep going. Okay. So she's getting back in here. This is the second one by Jonathan Sprague. The most volatile I ever feel is when I'm emotional, conflicted, listening to music and staring out at the moon. That's why largely I spend them alone in my high places with no counsel save my own and spirit. Beautiful. Beautiful. And this one, again, Jonathan Sprague, third entry. It's called Law 21, Presence is Everything. No one wants to be in a partnership that is one-sided. To be treated as an afterthought is a terrible fate to any relationship. Be sure to be present with your lover, lest inattention starve your love to death. That is so very true. And here we are.
My phone just decided to shut off, and I was like, oh, well, maybe it went dead, but that wasn't the case. No, it just was being a jerk.
No problem. I handled it. I read the 3 poems that were contributed by Jonathan Sprague. So now that you're back, if you'd like to continue, okay. You could start again with trans writings.
Yeah. Get back to that one. I actually have 2 of them picked out by him.
Yep. Oh, there's
you
Angel.
Read 3 of them?
Yeah, I read his 3 little micro poems that he submitted just while you were coming back.
Very cool. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for the show going. Technical difficulties, people. It's going to happen. I'm just glad it didn't completely mess this up. That would really suck.
No, trust me, I had it covered in case anything happened. So
Okay.
you're good
And
to
I'll
go.
just start over. This is Anne's writing. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't step off the ledge. I couldn't because the wind was shouting in my ears and the waves were waving at me to go back, and I could see her face in the water. She looked scared for me, and maybe it was just my imagination, but I haven't seen her in so long. I wanted to see her. God, I wanted to see her. So I stared at the water for so long. I don't know how long I stared for, and she was asking me something, but I couldn't hear her over the wind and the waves. But I think she said I shouldn't do it, and is that just my subconscious? Is that wishful thinking that she was in the water and I was on the shore on the cliff and she was telling me to go back? Is it what I wanted to see? Is it the part of me that doesn't want to die? Is it, is it, is it? How can I know? But I do know I can see her again. I think if I go back there or if I have a drink tomorrow, maybe she'll be in the cup waiting for me in cold coffee. And maybe she'll smile and maybe she'll say that she loves me and maybe I'll hear it and I'll let go of this breath that I've been holding for so long. And maybe I'll be able to see her in my dreams because I had forgotten what she looked like until now. But God, she was so beautiful. She is so beautiful. And God, I want to see her again. So I think I'll wake up tomorrow. So to see if I can find her somewhere like hide and seek. And I'll find her and we'll hide together under blankets and we'll whisper secrets to each other. When she goes again, maybe then I'll go back to the cliff. And that was trans writings, just number 140.
God damn.
His writing is always just very emotional, very, I don't know, it like tugs at that.
That was a phenomenal piece. Going back to the cliff at the end when she leaves, Jesus, oh Jesus, that was that's heart wrenching. Oh my God.
I know. So good though. I love their writing. Every single piece that they ever put out, I'm like, oh, I have to like hold my breath. I can't breathe while I'm reading it.
It's beautiful. I loved it. Great choice. Great choice. All right, so this one is quite popular, and it sort of came to me years later after doing Slam. But the more I heard it, the more it just gets to you because it's so fucking heart wrenching, but also at the same time very healing. It's called OCD by Neil Hilborn, who's since it went viral, he's sort of become. Sorry, my camera went blurry. It's sort of become really very popular in the slam community, especially on the internet. So, I do believe he was actually at the last Canadian Festival of Spoken Word, like the Nationals, that unfortunately I skipped out on. But let's just say my team wasn't up to par, and I wasn't gonna sit there and carry them all on my back. And they're all really very good, but it was like 3 days before they were supposed to register, and they hadn't registered the team. We went to a meeting. I'm like, "Are you guys ready? What are we going to be doing?" And they had no idea. So I just sort of backed out. Either way, that's just an aside. But here is Neil Hilborn, OCD. Hopefully, I do it some justice. Because I don't have OCD, but the way he does it is incredible. It says here, is performed during the individual finals at the 2013 Rust Belt Regional Poetry Slam. and became an internet viral sensation in August 2013 after first rising to popularity on Reddit. There you go, Reddit. Making everything viral these days. Well, I mean, forever. So, okay. I'm going in raw here. Bear with me. The first time I saw her, everything in my head went quiet. All the tics, all the constantly refreshing images just disappeared. When you have obsessive compulsive disorder, you don't really get quiet moments. Even in bed, I'm thinking, did I lock the doors? Yes. Did I wash my hands? Yes. Did I lock the doors? Yes. Did I wash my hands? But when I saw her, the only thing I could think about was the hairpin curve of her lips. Or the eyelashes on her cheek, the eyelash on her cheek, the eyelash on her cheek. I knew I had to talk to her. I asked her out 6 times in 30 seconds. She said yes after the third one, but none of them felt right, so I had to keep going. On our first date, I spent more time organizing my meal by color than I did eating it or fucking talking to her, but she loved it. She loved that I had to kiss her goodbye 16 times or 24 times if it was a Wednesday. She loved that it took me forever to walk home because there are lots of cracks on our sidewalk. When we moved in together, she said she felt safe, like no one would ever rob us because I definitely locked the door 18 times. I'd always watch her mouth when she talked, when she talked, when she talked, when she talked, when she talked. When she said she loved me, her mouth would curl up at the edges. At night, she'd lay in bed and watch me turn the lights off and on and 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 off. She'd close her eyes and imagine that the days and nights were passing in front of her. Some mornings I'd start kissing her goodbye, but she'd just leave because I was just making her late for work. When I stopped in front of a crack on the sidewalk, she just kept walking. When she said she loved me, her mouth was a straight line. She told me that I was taking up too much of her time. Last week she started sleeping at her mother's place. She told me she shouldn't have let me get so attached to her, that this whole thing was a mistake, but how can it be a mistake when I don't have to wash my hands after I touched her? Love is not a mistake, and it's killing me that she can run away from this, and I just can't. I can't go out and find someone new because I always think of her. Usually when I obsess over things, I see germs sneaking into my skin. I see myself crushed by an endless succession of cars, and she was the first beautiful thing I ever got stuck on. I want to wake up every morning thinking about the way she holds to the steering wheel, how she turns shower knobs like she's opening a safe, how she blows out candles, blows out candles, blows out candles, blows out candles, blows out. Now I just think about who else is kissing her. I can't breathe because he only kisses her once. He doesn't care if it's perfect. I want her back so bad. I leave the door unlocked. I leave the lights on. I'm almost crying here.
I almost cried.
Oh my God. Whew. You can see it. Man, that was tough. That was tough to get through. Jesus Christ, Neil Hillborn.
That was like, I don't even have the words. I mean, I'm sure that he got plenty of beautiful things coming after him after he went viral, but like that just...
Nothing will compare to her. Not after that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but holy shit.
Man.
And just feeling like you're like in his head. You can feel the words bouncing off of his brain in that one.
That's the beauty of that piece, is that like it's OCD, it's like you understand, or you can get a sense of what it feels like to experience that, in the smallest sense, very small sense, but yeah, my God. All right, so what do you have for us now, Steph?
I was so enthralled in that I didn't pull anything up, and now what should I do? How many more do you?
I have 3 spokens and the last feature that was done on the feature page. You want me to read the one from the feature page while you pull something up?
Well, on the feature page, that I think that was Herschel's.
Lisa Spence.
Oh,
That's we've had 3 submissions since we launched the page, but yeah.
okay. This one is from jaw.word. Jaw.word. No title. To be pieces. I've pursued her stars that home to harmony, drank from her wild waters that washed the fallen world clean. I've seen the sun seek out her face for a place found where all the frozen hearts did bask in the warmth of a new forever. Oh, how they tethered their lost dreams to her dream like life, as I once got lost in days of her dawning days arising. Now with an awe rising in her full river, she cares for birth, where she is found, etched in starlight sky and gold earth ground, giving life, a new life as nature binds mother to child, a love forever bound. Jaw word. I
Hmm.
just really liked, I thought that was just very beautiful. And I love the like metaphors of the whole giving birth and life. And I think you kind of know why I picked that piece.
Yeah, that was great. Jaw word. I do believe. I don't think I'm following, but I have seen their pieces a few times.
It's a newer account for me. I think I just started following ago.
I like the name too. Jaw word. Great. Okay, so we will read the last submission, which was November 29th by Lisa Spence. So thank you, Lisa Spence, Jonathan Sprague, and Herschel Fraser for all of your submissions. And like I said to all of you out there watching, if you guys have poetry that you want us to read on these live streams, podcasts, watch parties, submit them. Join the group, submit. We will feature some on the page and we will read them in our show. So thank you again to all 3 submissions since we've launched. And this is Lisa Spence, Forever Forgiveness it's called. As I sit, blade against my wrist, I ask for your forever forgiveness. When I make a mistake and hear your voice get loud, I ask for your forever forgiveness. You see, to me there is no right or wrong, just my heart. Although I am nothing like you, I am still part of you. You are my mother and I am your daughter. That's why I ask for your forever forgiveness. Wow.
Really, it's beautiful and it's deep.
It really is. Like, it starts out like kind of dark, but it ends on such a heartwarming line. Like, that's why you are my mother and I am your daughter. Like, that's why I ask for your forever forgiveness. Like, you always got to find that love and that forgiveness in your heart for, those you love. So
Yeah. That's part of love is giving. Quite a bit about that.
yeah, that's for real. Okay, so thank you again for all your submissions. If you want to be read in the show, like I said, submit, submit, submit. We always see them and we will read them. We will read your pieces.
Yeah, for sure. We will read them here on the streams, and some of them will get featured on your page. There's the group page.
You're cutting out just a little bit at the end of your sentences. So maybe just
Okay.
bring your mic closer, or just talk a little bit louder so that it.
Okay. I can talk louder.
That actually sounded really good when you. Yeah.
I held it. No?
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh, that's perfect. Wow. Yes.
Oh God. Now I'm gonna have to do this forever. That's ridiculous that I have to hold these. These are Beats headphones. They should be.
You know what? It might just be the sensitivity in Discord. You know how you can have the sensitivity
Mm-hmm.
It catches.
When you watch my lives on Instagram, though, does it do that?
No. Look, that's because you're on Instagram. So it's just the different sound systems of Instagram and Discord.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it doesn't do that on Instagram, then it must be the Discord. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. You've heard this one. This one is the latest from Dai Ueno.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Dogs Can Play in the Rain. If you have heard of or thought about how absurd families are, you are right. Families are absurd because my frail brother adored our dog like his baby, all spry and playing with him too much like every moment of life. But my father always argued about the dog because the dog barked so much, somehow particularly at his back, and he simply buried him in the garden beside my brother standing in the rain. Or circling around again and again like madness itself because my brother was frail like everybody else, beheaded like petals on a rose, bruises and millions of scars, and add another one and another one added, so it's 1,000,001 now. Families are absurd because later, consequently, the contagious madness embraces the dinner table where no one talks and the forks suck blood, and suddenly my hand shakes and the bloody forks get so attractive. And that was Dogs Can Play in the Rain by Dai Ueno. Yeah, his writing is always just so very unique, and his flow, and even like you have to kind of really read it because the way that he types it out on his slides doesn't always match up with the actual cadence of it.
Yeah. There's like a visual style that he does, I've noticed. Which
right.
is really quite beautiful, but you're absolutely right about the cadence. So that was great. I love that one.
Yeah.
Great choice. Okay, so we discussed this one just before we started the show. Saul Williams, Om. Now I could skip this and do my last two, but you want me? Yeah, you want me to do this one, right? So, Saul Williams. I've replaced some of the words with human because I'm a white dude and I'm not going to say the N word, but he does use it in a certain context, but I do believe the metaphor is for humans. So I'm going to try to do this justice. I love you, Saul. You're amazing. And this is one of my favorites from you, also very inspirational. And it has been on my spiritual journey. It was sort of like a guiding light, I would say, when I started my spiritual journey, my spiritual awakening, like in the summer. So, Om by Saul Williams. This is so good. Through meditation, I program my heart to beat breakbeats and hum bass lines on exhalation. Om. I burn 7-day candles that melt into 12-inch circles on my mantle and spin funk like myrrh. Om. And I can fade worlds in and out with my mixing patterns, letting Earth spin as I blend in Saturn, and humans be spinning windmills, braiding hair, locking, popping as the sonic force of the soul keeps the planets rocking. The beat don't stop when soulless matter blows into the cosmos trying to be stars. The beat don't stop when Earth sends out satellites to spy on Saturnites and control Mars, 'cause humans got a peace treaty with Martians, and we be keeping them up to date with sacred gibberish like show enough, and it's on, the beat goes on, the beat goes on, the beat goes Om. And I roam through the streets of downtown Venus, trying to auction off monuments of Osiris's severed penis, but they don't want no penis in Venus, for androgynous cosmology sets their spirits free, and they neither men nor women be, and they be down with the billion humans who have yet to see that interplanetary truth is androgynous, and they be sending out shout-outs through stars, and humans be like, what up? And talking Mars, 'cause we are solar, and regardless of how far we roam from home, the universe remains our center, like Om. I am no earthling. I drink moonshine on Mars and mistake meteors for stars because I can't hold my liquor, but I can hold my breath and ascend like wind to the black hole and play galaxophones on the fire escapes of your soul, blowing tunes through lunar wombs, impregnating stars, giving birth to suns that darken the skins that skin our drums, and we be beating infinity over sacred hums, spinning funk like myrrh until Jesus comes, and Jesus comes every time we drum, and the moon drips blood and eclipses the sun, and out of darkness comes the, and out of darkness comes the, and out of darkness comes the Om. Oh my God.
Oh my God, you killed that one.
Tough.
That was awesome.
So thank you, Saul. And yeah, I did replace a couple words there, but I needed to show respect for that. That one was a guiding light for me and when I was in a very dark place this summer. So thank you.
You did so well on that one. That's an awesome slam too. I really like all the Venus and Mars.
Saturnites. Oh man, he's brilliant. Man is brilliant. All right. So what do you got for us now?
I'm gonna do another one from Trans Writing. This is number 138. Is my mic okay?
Yeah, it's good.
I'll do it okay. I feel a rib break under my hand. Anything to get the heart to beat, and then Google search how to stay warm under the covers, dog ear pages and bunny feet. Books I haven't read, smashed mug and white lies trodden into carpet. Music and languages I don't speak. You saying you'll never leave? A hymn stolen from your mouth, bloody and starved. Enough about you. What about me? Me. I'm saying the difficult thing and I'm confessing my flaws to the ceiling. And it hurts the dead. It hurts the dead don't dream. So what am I doing here? Broken ribs, broken words, pulling apart my own seams. Google search. The best glue for sticking things back together. Add to cart. And that's number 138 by Trans Writing.
It's killing me with these pieces. Like add to cart? Come on. Oh my God.
I know. The whole like Google search theme throughout that one was just awesome. And it felt like the way that it read was like having too many tabs open on your PC and in your mind, you know?
It's absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love it because he steps away from the overall metaphors that are used in lots of poetry, and he takes new metaphors, or they take new metaphors, and I love that piece. Very, very good choice again. We've got some bangers on this first show. I don't know if we're going to follow up next time. We're going to need more features. We're going to need more submissions. So please.
Yeah, guys.
submit. Yeah. Okay, so once again, this is Raw. I think I've only watched the video like twice. I've never sent this one to you. But it is from Shane Coyson. Now, Shane Coyson is a Canadian slam poet, extremely popular. Angel, good old Angel. It's almost her time, isn't it? We're almost done. So.
Well, I'm surprised she's playing. That's why I'm letting her do it, because she's like 13 years old. She's like Angel doesn't play anymore. She's actually.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's great. So Shane Coyson, he has always been very popular among the Canadian slam scene, but he did rise to popularity. I think it was in the 2012 Canadian Olympics in Vancouver. I can't remember. It was the Vancouver Olympics, which was like 2010 or 2012 or something. And he did a poem about Canada, about Canadians, called "We Are," and it's a beautiful piece. But this one right here is called "Shoulders," and this one helped me a lot too. And I'm going in raw, like, again, so here we go. Like many, I love to look at the stars. I love the fact that ours is just one among many. What I love about astronomy is that our constellations tell a story. Our constellations were born from mythology. Mythology was our first attempt to understand the world in which we live. We put a god in everything, and those gods would give us our reasons. Why is the sky blue? Who chose blue? Gods. How come men have nipples? It's the will of the gods. Why does wine taste so good? There's a god in it. And for a while, there was not a single thing that the gods could not explain. We believe their anger gave us lightning. Their despair gave us rain. We whispered our desires to them, believing that their charity would sustain us. Those gods were just stories. But stories became a large part of how we learn. They burn lessons into our memories. They become part of how we remember. We can remember almost everything. Right down to that first unbearable bee sting, when we learned that this tiny blue marble we call the world has rules. Rule number 1, don't fuck with the bees. An unforgettable lesson brought to you by your memories. I remember that I grew up loving mythology. I remember the story of the Titan Atlas, who was also the god of astronomy. The original global positioning system, sending sailors safely home by telling them which constellation to keep starboard. He taught us about the stars, and in all this, while we held up ours, our pale blue dot. But Atlas is caught between two different tellings of his story. In the first, he leads a rebellion against Olympus and is then sentenced to hold the heavens on his shoulders for eternity. In the second story, he is chosen to be the guardian of the pillars that hold up the earth and sky. I prefer the second story. It means that the world is not a punishment, but rather a responsibility. But how can just one be charged with such a burden? How can just one be responsible for all this? When I think of Atlas, I think of a single drop of rain. I think of how unfair it would be to hold a single drop solely responsible for making the entire world clean again. I remember how my grandmother tried to explain our world to me. She told me a story. She said the ground and the sky, they love each other, but they don't have arms. So rain, that's just how they hold one another. I began to see how the earth and sky need each other, but I wondered about us. In this perfect design, where do we fit? Which piece of the puzzle are we? Like constellations, I began to see a connection between dots and numbered my thoughts and drew lines from one to the next. I began to see in the context of a bigger picture, sharpening the blur slowly into focus. We are Atlas. I saw that this pale blue dot, this one world, is all we get. There will be no reset button, no new operating system, no downloadable upgrade. We will only be allowed to trade in our world for a new one with climate control or better fuel efficiency. We get one shot at this. Dismiss all reports of second chances. We get one. And yet we draw advances on our future as if one day we won't be held accountable. We will. We are. The human race runs towards a finish line emblazoned with the worlds too far and wonders, will we ever cross it? Have we already? We are faced with the seemingly impossible talk. And it's okay to be afraid. Our dilemma stands before us like a mountain carved into a blockade. The sheer magnitude of our problem would be enough to dissuade anyone. How do we save the world? We lay in our beds, curled into question marks, wondering what can we do? Where do we start? Is hope a glue crazy enough to hold us together while we're falling apart? The burden seems immense. But we can do this. We must take the martial arts approach to loving our planet. Love as self-defense. Forget about the cost. There will be no other thing as worth saving as this. Nothing more important. Nothing as precious. This is home. All of our stories start and end here. We are sheltered within an atmosphere that has given us every single breath we will ever take. Every monument we have ever made has come from the flesh of our planet. Water like blood, skin like soil, bones like granite. It's not a myth. There is no debate. Facts are in. Fact is, there's never been any question. We are facing crisis. We must dismiss the truth that not because we can accept it, but because we have to commit ourselves to change is a scary prospect for anybody. The most alarming part of that statement is we are facing crisis. Isn't the word crisis? It's the word we. Because those two letters take the responsibility away from one and rest it squarely on the shoulders of everybody. We are Atlas now. But our strength will come from finding a way to share in shouldering the responsibility of turning the impossible into somehow. Somehow we will do this. We can do this. We can dismiss apathy. We can reject uncertainty. We can be the new chapter in our story. We will not see change immediately. We must act in faith as the hour hand grips the minute hand and they land on the 11th hour. We must believe, like the seed that changed, is possible to see. Never sees the flower. It grows knowing it must become more than it was. It changes because in growth, all of its potential can be unlocked. Change is like rain. It starts with a single drop, just one, like our pale blue dot, caught in an endless waltz called gravity. We circle the sun, wondering who, if anyone, left the light on. We are constellations drawn upon the earth. We are connected to one another. We are bound. We must behave as the arms that connect the ground to the sky. We must try to be more like the rain. Our stories may differ. Our goal is the same. How do we save our pale blue dot? We act as the rain, realizing that every individual drop is as equal and important as any. We act as one. Now we are many. Fuck.
Holy shit.
I,
That was
bit longer than I thought, but goddamn, I had to get that one in. How does it make you feel? You're sitting there like speechless.
that's a spiritual awakening in a poem. Like
It is.
wow.
This earth, man. It's all we got. It's all we got.
Yeah, it's all we got, and we all need to work together to preserve and keep it.
Whether you're freaking red, blue, green, purple, every color of the rainbow, we got to work together. All right. What you got for us, my lovely?
I am going to read. This is from I Wrote, and it's spelled like I, like your eyeball. I think they also just go by E. Maybe being human is the hardest task we will ever encounter. My brain goes rambling on like a babbling brook. It overruns and streams I've swam times before, but I rarely speak about. I do splash against and onto tiny creeks of unknown. The mystery into the wonder of expanding this skin. A heavy flesh I am thankful to have received, even though I never asked for it. I'm always curious as to why we act the way we do. It seems the world has gone slightly insane, or maybe it's just me that is completely sitting still inside the twitch of it all. We share our truths in white lies and bleach our tongues just to save face. For me, I would rather be blunt and honest. I'd rather be told the truth for exactly what it is. Leave behind the stacks of sugar that glaze the fall of my feelings. My behavior is my own, and I'd pay the price to see the real you. Any and all of your every crack and stone pouring what's really hidden in small talk takes trips to anywhere but here. Give me your dramatic and hand me your fears. Shake me awake with what you are and your dreams are made of. I am hardly clear in concept. I want criticism that makes my veins pull themselves away from my body. I want to be the ruin of a fountain that's held together by your natural stir. I want to know what my bones feel like to really be broken. Smile when my own blood dries just to mend this shape that makes my shadow. I want to taste real without closing my eyes. That was from E Wrote, is untitled. I think like everything I picked pretty much is untitled. But I think that was, yeah, I love that poem, and I think it was a perfect follow-up to what you just read.
Oh,
of just like how
was. Wow.
Kind of how rough it can be, in these flesh bags, but it's what we got, and make the best of it. Don't be fake. Take off your mask. Show me what you're made of.
Exactly. Gotta confront those shadow pieces of yourself. Yeah, I got one more. How many do you have?
Okay, so do you want me to have one more?
Yeah, and then I could end it with this phenomenal piece here.
You can end it with what?
I could end it with this this phenomenal slam piece. I sort of saved this one for the end. It's
so you have one more piece?
Mm-hmm. How many do you have? You have like two or something?
No, I mean, I was gonna actually pull one that I didn't have on my list, but I read it. It popped up in my feed right before you and I got going, and I just thought it was gorgeous. But
Yeah, let's go. Let's hear it.
you want me to read that one right now, and then you
Yeah,
can end on the. Okay.
yeah.
All right. It's actually the one I told you to go check out on my story
Oh
from
yes, I did. I
Nicole.
just read this one. It's so good.
So this is Nicole 444 underscore fallen. Angel. It's called Who I Am. I close my eyes to the chaos that surrounds, and I am once again the dreamer whose bones have grown tired from the overwhelming effort it takes to carry the weight of the world which has found a home here, there, everywhere, everywhere and anywhere, filling all of the spaces between this world and the next. And I am the weary traveler seeking refuge from the storm which rages ever present just beyond the borders of the dream state where I step forward with hands clasped upon the handle of a door that leads to a place I know I have visited before now, before then, before it all began. And I am a spiritual being stepping across the threshold from a raging storm that fades into the hushed silence of a prayer that blankets me like God does the earth with new fallen snow as far as the eye can see, yet not feel, not feel these ice crystals as they fall upon my bare skin exposed in this moment, frozen in time, and I am, I am numb from a reality that awaits my return, but not yet, because the angels tell me I have been brought here because I have struggled for far too long in an existence where I have simply survived and have yet to live. To live, they tell me, I must rest as the sweet voices of angels sing hymns through the silence which heals my soul in this very moment. In this very moment, the angels assure me that numb is sometimes necessary here in this place that I return to so that God may remind me of who I am. And I am. I open my eyes. I remember who I am. And that was Who I Am by Nicole 444 underscore fallen angel.
It's so freaking good, and the looping, like the I am, and it's like the structure is beautiful and adds to the overall gorgeousness of it.
She did like all the things that I love in Poe. She used repetition, good repetition. I
Yes.
love good repetition. She with every line the way she ended it is how she started the next, like at the beginning she says, I am once again the dreamer. And the next line is the dreamer whose bones have grown tired. And then tired from the overwhelming effort. It's just the way that she always, like, she doesn't put out that many pieces very often, but when she does, she nails it. They're so good. And every time she puts out a new piece, I have to read it out loud. It's one of those, she's one of those writers that I can't like just read it in my head. It's one that has to come out.
I would have to agree. That's what I like. I was reading it out loud as when you sent it to me, because it's It's a phenomenal as a spoken, just the way it's structured. Like you said, like she uses the words from the last part of the last line in in the first part of the next line. It's structurally it and just cadence. It's so good. So I'm glad that you read that one. Beautiful. Okay, we have made it an hour and 22 minutes. So
oh my gosh.
we will definitely try to keep it down to an hour, I feel, for each show. But we had some really good pieces today. So like I said to everybody out there, submit. We will read them. We see them. It pops up in our notifications, and we will feature them, and we will read them on the show live. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. And I'm going to end it on another one of my favorite slam poems from many years ago that has inspired many of my pieces. And it's called Scratch and Dent Dreams by Eric Darby. I'll have to send you this video afterwards, Steph. It's the guy's amazing. But let's see if I could do it any justice. It's one of those videos I've watched many times. So, and hopefully I don't cry. Scratch and Dent Dreams, Eric Darby. Thanks for coming out for the poetry, the Poets Foundry first live. Come on in. I've got a sale on Scratch and Dent Dreams. Whole cases of imperfect ambitions. Stuff the idealists couldn't sell. Yeah, I know. None of it's got price tags. You decide how much it's worth. And none of it's got glossy colored packaging, but it all works just fine. I've got rainy day swing sets, goodnight kisses, and stationary stars still flying at the speed of light. And over there, out back, if you dig down through those alabaster stoplights and those old 45s, you'll find a whole crate of second-hand hope. Yeah, right there. There's no chrome. You just gotta work. Polish it up a bit. Most folks give up too early, trade it in for some injection mold of here and now. And over there, across the freeway, you see that purple awning flapping in the breeze? Well, that's Mama Genuine's shop. She's older than all of us put together, but still, she laughs like a house. Now, she only sells tools, but not like you know. She's got saws that put back together, drills that make whole. Mama's a cool legend to know, and she sells duct tape, too. And down there, at the end of the block, are two kids, crew cut and pigtails, sitting behind a bindle top table selling peanut butter ice cream out of a galvanized pail. And there's no metaphor. There's just good ice cream. So here's what you do. Take a look around. Pick out what reminds you of places you wanted to be but gave up on going, and jam it all in a big box called Now. Then go across the street to Mama Genuine's and ask her how she's been. Show her what I gave you. She'll know exactly what you need. And then go back in the center of that freeway and get to work making it all fit. You won't have any directions or factory numbered tabs, but don't panic. There's 100 ways to do it right and none to do it wrong, 'cause you're staring out with what's already been giving up upon. And you can't do any worse. Use the tools Mama gave you. Hum a little while you work. Then you find yourself sprouting extra thumbs. Take a break. Go around the block. Get yourself an ice cream. Smile when they hand it to you. Tip them if you can. And when you get back, it's all going to make sense. You'll see it's going to fit perfect. And where the duct tape has to go, and when you get finished, take whatever spare parts you got at the bottom of Now and make yourself a little sign that says tomorrow, and hang it on your masterpiece. Then you go back down the block to where those two kids are packing up their peanut butter enterprise because somebody told them they'd fail, and I want you to hand them tomorrow. Make sure they know how important it is. And after they've run off, all elbows and smiles, y'all come back here. We'll do it all over again. Now, I'm not telling you this to make a profit. That's how so many good ideas go wrong. I'm just tired of seeing everyday people screaming through these doors, convinced they're gonna hawk even the littlest hopes and dreams to fund their 401ks. I'm tired of seeing this whole world bet on going big or giving up, only handing out glory to newspaper headlines and storybook endings, because the truth is, I think we need those swing sets most on the rainy days. I'm happy going to sleep after just a good night kiss, and I believe that beauty can be as simple as two kids, crew-cutting pigtails, handing me a scoop of peanut butter ice cream that tastes so good, you think it was a dream. That shit kills me. I barely got through that. Oh my god. Oh.
That's a good one. I loved the line about the swing sets on the rainy days. Like,
When we
yeah.
need them most. When we need them most. So, thank you, everybody, for coming out. As you can see, we love poetry here, and we want to give you the best shows possible, and we want to read your poetry. We want to read your submissions, and we want to see what you guys have, what's part of your soul, what makes you feel, and what makes you heal. So, thank you for coming out, and we will have another show up. I'm not sure when, but we're going to try and make a schedule around it, but we thought we should get this one out as soon as possible, and we've been working on this for quite some time. So, again, thank you. And Stephanie, you have anything to say?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody that came out to see our launch streams. We will be doing it, like you said, we'll be doing it. We're going to try to do it like on a regular basis at day. But we will definitely let you guys know, and it will be a lot easier if you guys submit material to read. So
yeah,
that's important. Submit. Go and join the group and follow the feature page, and
we will be sure to get to your poetry. Together. Yeah. Okay. And on that note, we bid you
have a great evening.
Adieu. Yes, we love you. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.